Small space in such a short time. As the bodies continued to be pulled out of the Happy Land Social Club, the numbers just kept piling up, eventually reaching a death toll of 87, the most deadly fire in the history of New York City at the time, since the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory of 1911 in Manhattan.
Right. Most deadly fire in the history of New York City, the Happy Land fire. Since Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire back in the Industrial Revolution age, back, when they didn't have all kinds of things in place to safeguard people in their working conditions. And they were working, in sweatshops, back at what was that? He said 1911. And then, we had policies, all kind of policies in place to safeguard things like construction and safeguard things like, being up to code, building code and being inspected and, having limits as to how many people could be inside of a establishment, or having there were requirements that there had to be multiple exits, and the exits have to be brightly lit, easily accessible, and on and on. And that's why I said we have to put a stop to the illegal immigration because, you foreigners are coming here with the bullshit talking about you're coming for a better life. And how you do it is by coming in, doing all kinds of crimes and shortcuts, breaking all kinds of laws, and just being very lawless, and then coming here to take advantage of our legal system for your benefit, while at the same time being lawless and committing crimes and doing all kinds of things that you abuse the communities and have the nerve to come here and have convenient memory loss, just like the white folks who use and abuse black people for centuries as slaves and indentured servants and all kind of things, have the same convenient memory loss that these are our communities, these are our neighborhoods. That's a lie. I was born in 1969. The only people here were blacks, whites, a couple of Puerto Ricans, and some Jews, and anyone else you saw was like seeing a unicorn. If you saw a Chinese person, when a Chinese boy came from China and came and was in school with us, put in school when I was in 4th grade, okay, and we were learning long division, and he had already learned short division, okay. I stood there, he looked like a unicorn. I stood there and just stared at him in amazement. I'd never seen a Chinese person up close before. So it's all a lie. While y'all talk about, oh, we were here already. No, you weren't. The only ones who were here were the blacks, the whites, a few Puerto Ricans. Even seeing them was very rare. And some Jews. And everybody else was, like I said, like seeing one grain of sand, one grain of salt in a pepper shaker when you saw anybody else. So it's all a lie. Y'all come with the oral history and the convenient memory loss and forget that, no, you weren't all here already. No, you weren't. I'm not saying that Mexicans have not come across this border for many centuries. They used to do it back when they used to fight against the Indians, the American Indians, the indigenous people y'all love to talk so much about. Geronimo went on record saying that he couldn't stand the Mexicans because they came across the border, like they always do, illegally, and killed their people. See, my thing is, if there's some kind of conflict over the land that was taken from Mexico in those wars, Mexican-American wars and all that stuff, then I guess they should have handled it on that level, on a political or diplomatic level. Instead, what they did is they came here, for the so-called better life. And how they get it? By coming and taking over black communities where we have already suffered enough. And now you bring people who are uneducated and motivated to take everything that black people have worked so hard for to have at the bottom, because our people have been kept at the bottom deliberately, and then invite folks in to take everything we have at the bottom and replace us. Lie and say they weren't doing that. 30 years ago, they said they weren't here to replace us and they weren't here for jobs and all that. And my, here we are. They're doing all that openly now, And no. It's not something that we're just going to sit and take while y'all come here to work wholeheartedly with the white man to flood our communities with drugs, make money off of it, and get all our kids and our people hooked on drugs. At the same time, taking jobs and giving them only to your own people, having convenient memory laws that, no, you weren't all here already. I know, I was born in 1969. So anybody who have convenient memory laws and want to talk about, these are our neighborhoods, the Dominicans, the Spanish, the Haitians, the Latinos, the Africans, the Arabs. No, you weren't. The Russians, the Eastern Europeans. No, you weren't here. The Haitians, those from the islands, or the Jamaicans, or whoever, or from wherever the fuck. No, you weren't. I know. I was born in 1969. To see any of y'all here was a miracle. It was like seeing a unicorn. Didn't see y'all hard body until the 80s when the drug trade hit, and then they started flooding our country with people to work the drug trade, bring the drugs in, transport them in, all of that, working the drug spots. And then because they were coming right across the border to do it, and they using all the loopholes, everybody in all countries started doing it. That's how it happened. Now you know. It started during the 80s in the drug trade. I know. I was right there on 160 when they would come, and they couldn't do anything but count money, weigh drugs on the scale, and say, I got it, Papi, I got it, Papi, I got it. And funny, 30 years later, they still ain't learned to speak English, but they talking about they want to be American. No, they want to come and take over American communities. You do not want to be American. You don't want to communicate with black people. You don't give a fuck about black people. Y'all use and abuse and try to erase the black people in your countries and come here wholeheartedly willing to participate in using and abusing and taking from black communities and black people and getting all our people hooked on drugs, and then talking about we lazy. Huh? And trying to do anything you can to sabotage black people in our communities and take what we have because you're not upwardly mobile. You're not, most of y'all come from countries where you're not that interested in a high quality education that we used to have. And so most of y'all are very happy to be at the bottom. And you see it's true when you see what they, like that, the podcast Evil Intentions. Everybody they talk about is all these low paying jobs, entry-level, manual labor, non-upwardly mobile, non-professional career, having no resume required jobs. While they come in talking about, I want to be a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. Coming filled with lies and corruption and lawlessness. From countries filled with lies, corruption, lawlessness, and coming here to keep our people enslaved on drugs, especially black people, but Americans in general, don't give a fuck about us but want us to help you. And saying you're doing this, y'all come here to help us. Miss me with the bullshit. Come and talk to me anytime about it. But in the meantime, I'm going to be getting my people together so that we can get reparations, because we're not getting anything out of diversity or anything trying to work together. Let's work together with the. We've done that forever for hundreds of years, and what have we got out of it? Nothing but slavery, segregation, and slaps in the face. So miss me with the bullshit. You foreign trash. You come here to work with the Americans to keep us at the bottom, and so y'all can step on our necks to take our spots that our people worked so hard and had their heads busted open to get. And you never came to fight any of the battles. So you're not entitled to any of the benefits. Miss me with the bullshits. We'll go to court for this shit. Our people are entitled. While y'all come here and wholeheartedly participate in racism against us, and every crime you commit, you blame it on black people. I never heard y'all say a white person did it. It's always black people. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that shit. We don't need any more of it, my black people. Straight the fuck up. They're coming here to use and abuse us and participate in using and abusing us and replace us and erase us, along with the white man who's very happy to welcome them in because they don't owe them anything. So those folks coming in are very grateful to them for the crumbs. They owe us with reparations, and they don't want to face it, and they will.